Okay, we're ready anytime.
The great guardian god gave us the power.
Okay.
Immortal.
So welcome back to Hunter's Legacy. You know, the thing with the words. I am James. I am the DM for tonight, Delhandril, this leader of Merry Band of Misfits. With me, I am joined by Hurricane's Fury. Guys. So I know. But so yeah, we've made Dom a character. Dom is joining in our little campaign because Dom heard the shit that we were pulling and was like,
Yes, please. Here, mouse, please.
so yeah. Anyway, I'm not doing an intro campaign for Dom, just because he was here for John's campaign and kind of got a flavor of the whole thing by proxy. So yeah. I had the intro campaign written. I didn't fucking think I was gonna get this far tonight. Give me like a minute to try and think of something really quick. Dom, you're out on the water. It's really foggy where you are. Okay, more so than usual. You know, being at sea level with the place where, you know, the fog is, you're kind of used to sailing and navigating in the fog. You found ways how to do it. It's actually pretty useful. Most of which is entirely based off of, you know, knowing where the currents are and knowing where they'll bring you should you choose to follow them. Caboose, you're still really high in the mountains. You've just kind of been chilling out there for the past, trying to be away from everything, for the past, and you basically have succeeded at wholeheartedly, completely becoming a hermit. The only thing that every so often brings you down out of the mountains is the fact that, yes, you actually do need regular air for a change, and, yes, you actually do need food and water. So, today is one of those miraculous days. So you kind of fly down into the valley. Dom, you're sailing westward, towards where you know there will be a safe harbor. The place that you are going to, Dom, is called Moor Shrine. Moor Shrine is a city that's on a plateau high above the fog, and it has a cove, a big cove underneath it that basically people use as a harbor. Excuse me. And Thunderous Terror, you basically decide, I haven't been to this place, like, ever. And I've seen it poking up out of the fog for, like, you know, a few years now. You should probably go figure out what the fuck it's about. So, John.
Yes.
In your proverbial mailbox, as it were, you get a letter.
Okay.
It's written in very neat, flowing script. At the bottom is a wax seal. And it's the same seal that's on your mark of death.
Aha.
So the letter basically says, meet me in Moor Shrine.
Okay.
Without really a whole hell of a lot of detail. And there's a very neat flowing T written with a dash before it. You can only assume who it really might belong to.
Okay. You know what? What the heck? This guy led me to a heck of a good fight against an enemy I had never faced before. I'll go on a little faith.
Cool.
And I will head for Moor Shrine.
So,
I travel on foot like I always do.
Moor Shrine is a bit of a ways for Caboose and for John. So, in order to get to Moor Shrine, John, you have to go through Daggerdale.
Oh, all right.
And then you have to go for about a half-day's walk past Daggerdale.
It's no big deal. I like walking.
Cool.
I don't get tired easily.
No, you really don't. especially given the fact that your character has, like, 2 endurance.
Yeah.
So, eventually I'm gonna get Suka boost, but for a little bit, let me do with John. So, John.
Yes.
You get to the border of Daggerdale within a matter of minutes. Given how long your stride is, you get there very, very quickly. And in the town, people are like, look who it is. And, they're just kind of looking at you, and there's a few people, like, shielding their children as they walk by. There's some houses that are shutting up their doors and locking their windows and blah-de-blah-de-blah. This is about par for the course, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's one person in particular that, again, kind of, you're questioning why they're here.
Okay.
And they're dressed in purple, white, and dark blue robes. Followed by a school of razorfish. This is the 15th time you've seen them in Daggerdale in the past month.
So, I'll just walk by them. So, the last one like you that went by brought some real trouble.
I'm not quite sure what you mean.
25 feet tall, made out of glass. Real fun to kill.
And it's again, it sounds like a woman. She pulls her hood off. She's excruciatingly pale. Her hair is almost white as snow. And she looks pretty attractive, to be honest. She looks like she is outstandingly sad for no reason. Think literally like Blue Diamond.
Okay.
Okay? This is the type of vibe that this character has about them. So she looks really sad at what you're saying. And, that was a big one. I think someone's blowing up fireworks. But, yeah, she looks really sad, and she says, could you say that again, please?
Well, someone like you came to town, and out of nowhere, attacks by lycanthropes, blood drowners, and a woman who looked like you who turned into a 25-foot tall glass giant and who started trying to kill people, including me. I didn't like having to put her down, but she didn't give me a lot of choice.
And she kind of looks down at the ground and folds her hands in front of her.
Now, my issue is not with you, but I'm on my way to the next town down, and I may be gone a while. And this town is under my protection. I don't like the idea of leaving it with the same potential danger hanging around. Do we have a problem before I leave?
No, Hunter, we don't.
Good. I would not like to come back and discover that I was wrong.
As long as I stay away from Vietnam, the same problem should not happen to me.
Good. When are you leaving?
Here? She actually looks a little bit taken aback.
You're in Vietnam. No, sorry, you're in Daggerdale.
To Vietnam.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
My mistake. I'm sorry. You're in Daggerdale.
Okay.
Goof there. No, that's fine. Take back everything I just said a little bit. Back up 20 sentences, or there are 20 words there. I did not say when you're leaving. I said, all right then.
Okay.
All right then. I expect you to stay away from Vietnam.
My travels and routes never take me towards Vietnam.
Well, very good. We should be all right then. I leave the town in its own care then, and yours if I can.
And she looks kind of like rather pleasantly at you. She seems to be smiling for the first time in the entirety of the conversation. What is your name, might I ask?
Wolfan.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Wolfan.
Not many people say that. I'm glad to hear it. As I said, as I say to everyone, I don't have a problem with you until you force me to have one. I didn't like what I had to do a couple of weeks ago, but it did have to be done.
My name is Saria. I am a disciple of the Pale Lady.
Mm-hmm. I've met a couple
I will
like
look
you.
after these people as best as I can.
Very good. You see, the world can be a good place. We try not to act too much like people.
There's a lot of disciples of the soldier and the Lord here. They should be able to take care of themselves, but should they require my aid, I will come to it.
Yeah, it always seems like something shows up that average people just can't handle.
And she just kind of nods and is like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that sounds about right.
And I just stump off like I usually do. Just boom, boom, boom. I am off to...
Okay. Caboose. Caboose! Hi.
We can hear you okay so far.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Am I any better now? Okay.
Hey James, really quick, what's a major body of water's name in this universe, really quick?
An ocean?
Yeah.
No, give him the name of one.
Oh, okay. I actually didn't really get to name any bodies of water in this, so you're gonna have to give me a sec here. Because most of Drathrian is a landlocked continent.
Oh! Oops. We may have to pause here. Hang on. We're gonna pause here for a second. And, just give me a tick.
Cool, alright. So, you are on board the Tristed Knight. And, you know exactly what a razorfish looks like. It literally looks like, in case you didn't hear it before, it looks like a flying, slightly translucent shard of glass that shines when you put a prism through it, or that shines a prism when you put a light through it. And they fly in schools of about like 20.
And this is above me?
No, it's actually, there's like a huge school that kind of just is floating around your ship, like a wreath in a way.
My Kraken's at my beck and call, right?
Yes, of course it is. Do you have a name for your Kraken, by the way?
The Maw of Arukabar.
Maw of a what?
Arukabar.
Spell it.
U-R-R-U-K-A-B-R.
Okay. And do you have a name for your bizarre lizard?
Snaggletooth.
Snaggletooth, excellent. So Snaggletooth is kind of perched on your shoulder, and the rest of your crewmen are just kind of like,
why is the wizard so bizarre? Why is he always on his fucking shoulder? Why is he always there?
and you're just kind of like, meh. So, but yeah, you're sailing along, and the wind shifts rather briskly, I might add. And I'm gonna make a roll really quick to see if a thing happens. Your sails whip so hard in one of the directions that one of your sails actually develops a slight rip in it in the canvas, because it kind of like went so taut so quick that it almost looks like someone took a knife to the side of it. And all of the razorfish are just kind of like a lot of them get blown across the deck, and a couple of them, you know, chink off your armor. And you're like, man, what the? I just got this buffed yesterday.
Do I notice anything peculiar around me besides the razorfish?
Make a perception check.
That's a D20. 14.
Add +3 because you're on the ocean.
So 17.
Cool. There is a rather large group of crows off towards the west, where Moor Shrine would be.
Alright. I want to call my Kraken to be like just beneath, like not just beneath my ship, like a pretty good depth down beneath me, like just in case I need it.
Okay.
And I want to start turning the ship that way.
Cool. So the maul is literally kind of like hovering underneath your ship. And you turn off to the west, and all of the razorfish kind of go back to where they were before, and you kind of just remove you resume. That's the word I'm looking for. Resume your leisurely sail. So you're heading towards the harbor of Moor Shrine, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So because you could just be sailing to the west and not fucking go to Moor Shrine. You could do that if you want. But yeah. So you head in towards Moor Shrine. And the 5 spires, as I like to call them, of each of the churches. Kind of like how Vietnam has, like, you know, the clock tower in the middle. Instead of that, it's 5 in like a bisected, a bisected city that's walled off, right? And it's really high on this plateau. The only way to get in actually is via the gate that's at the front of the city, at the base of the plateau, or if you go in through the harbor, the staircase that's on the way up, and that's guarded all the way up. But yeah, really quick. Really super quick. The fucking cocked son of a bitch. Are you fucking kidding me? That went into my garbage. There we go, I got it. One more time. Okay, cool. So, out from the heavens descends a dragon.
Oh, well, that's pleasant.
This is a red dragon.
Does it notice my ship?
Oh yeah. And it's big. So you assume... Actually, no. You know what? No, this is a blue dragon. So you assume that the reason why the wind shifted so quick might have something to do with this dragon.
Okay. Oh.
But yeah, it's flying right at the ship.
I want my men to be ready just in case, like battle stations.
Yeah, so you call for battle stations, and everyone immediately goes to where they're supposed to be.
Really quick, inventory of the ship. Do I have any form of harpoons or lance-like weaponry that can be fired in the air?
You're a mariner, of course you do. This is how you make your living.
I just want to make sure. Never know, we could have just come back from a horrible voyage where we used everything. Alright.
No, you're coming from the south, from a place called the Grove of Jade, and this is another location that I have actually yet to flesh out in Drathrian. But this is where you're coming from. It was basically a mercantile voyage. Yeah, you're a warship, so it's still like, you know, you're ready to go. You're ready to throw ham, as the kids might say. And but yeah, you basically just ran a bunch of supplies from Moor Shrine to the Grove of Jade, and now you're on your way back to Moor Shrine.
Alright.
So this big old dragon, he look at you and he angry, and he goes for like kind of like a little dive type of deal towards your ship, and he opens up his mouth, and his big fucking toothy maw spews out water, and it kind of just goes over the ship, and it pelts a bunch of the wood that's on the deck, but nothing really happens. it might as well have just kind of looked like it was just testing out your ship to see how strong it was.
Okay.
And then
But
it goes back up and starts to circle back around.
So it just basically spit water at me.
Yep.
So obviously some of it got on my guy.
Of course.
My guy's just gonna like wipe off his face and be like, the lizard just spit at me. I want
And
it
one
dead.
of your officers, you know, your first mate. His name is First Mate Jones. First Mate Jones kind of looks at you and he goes, "I captain that he did."
Jones, get 2 harpoons ready near the bow of the ship.
I say. So Jones starts barking order. You know, they to it, and they get a few more on standby, ready to go. Do you want the chain set?
Yes.
Bring out the chains! And out from below decks, there's like 4 people hauling like probably what looks like 200 feet of steel chain. And they hook it onto the harpoon with basically what looks like a giant carabiner. And
I want to begin turning my vessel to face, like I want the nose of my ship to follow the dragon as closely as it can as it turns.
okay. So you start barking out navigational orders, and you know, you're like, adjust 20 degrees, and then you know everyone starts hauling ass, and the helmsman starts turning the wheel and blah blah blah. I'm gonna make a roll really quick, and I want you to make a roll off of D20. If you beat a 12, let me know.
What am I rolling for?
Just basic roll.
Alright, I got a 17.
Nice. Okay, so your ship whips around with the direction of the wind, and you start sailing right towards the dragon. And Jones kind of takes initiative and screams, "Fire!" And I'm gonna make 2 rolls really quick, 1 for each cannon. All right. Fucking savage. All right, so one of them goes zooming up into the air, and the dragon manages to dodge one of the harpoons, but the second harpoon lodges itself right in his fucking wing, and it's sitting there like still beating. It's a wyvern, right? So it has no front legs. It's just rear legs and wings.
Okay.
So it's beating one of its wings, trying to keep itself aloft in the air.
Is it
And,
is it getting any closer to the water?
No, it's just trying to get away. And no, it doesn't. Okay, so it's trying to get more lift, but it's failing horribly.
If it's losing lift, is its vertical distance to the water getting any lower?
No, it's basically achieving its altitude.
Okay.
It's not going up, it's not going down.
Gotcha.
Order, sir!
Keep it pinned, load another harpoon.
Reload! And the people that are on the harpoon that missed start fucking going as fast as they can. And excellent. So the dragon is still pinned. They reload the harpoon, and they go for their shot. And this harpoon, instead of the other wing, lands directly in the center of its abdomen.
Okay.
And the dragon just fucking roars. And it's in so much pain to the point where it's just fucking flapping uselessly. Now it's losing altitude.
Is there any way to start, like, make the chains retract as well?
Yeah, they start yanking back on the winches that are attached to the harpoons.
Reel them in.
One of the chains snaps. The one that's on its wing. The other one is still firmly embedded in its abdomen, but now it's starting to pull your ship.
Alright, I want to slacken on the reeling in so it doesn't rip the other chain.
Okay.
I want to let it start pulling us.
Okay.
I want to load another harpoon. Did it regain any altitude or no?
Yeah, once the other... Because now it has control of both of its wings, it's actually starting to gain altitude.
Okay. And just leave the other harpoon loaded. And that's it. That's it.
Cool. So they slacken back on the chain and they're just kind of letting it go. And they drop mast so that this way it just kind of starts to pull you guys along. And they reload the harpoon and they're just waiting.
Okay.
The dragon,
dragon
at this
do?
point, the dragon sprays water again, and this time it actually manages to rip one of the sails because the one that was already ripped before, now it's basically like completely in half.
Okay.
Because of just the force of the water that met it.
So is it now facing me? And is
Yeah,
it coming at
it's
a
facing you
downward
guys.
angle?
Yep.
I want to fire the other harpoon, but I also want to start pulling with the chain.
Okay. So they start yanking back on the winch again, and the dragon starts losing altitude because it kind of didn't expect it. And the other harpoon embeds itself in the other wing. So now it has a harpoon stuck in one wing with the chain kind of dangling uselessly from it. A harpoon in its abdomen and a harpoon in its other wing that's actually embedded.
Okay. So embedded, is it like pinned, or is it still free?
What do you mean?
Like, since you said embedded, would the wing be like pinned to another part of its body, or is it just like
No, the wing
harpoon
is
went
the
through
wing's still flapping. Like you got it when it was on like an upwards when it was on the upward motion of its wing in order to try and produce more lift. You know, and beat downwards. You got it when it was fully open and extended, and it went through the wing, and then they immediately brought out all of the slack in the chain and started to pull it taut again. So now its wing is yanked downwards, and it's flying with one. That's, you know, still got a harpoon stuck in it, mind you. So now it's losing altitude.
Is it losing altitude drastically enough that it's near the water?
It's having a hard time. Let me see. What do the rules say? Yeah, it's losing altitude pretty fast.
How close would you say it is to the water?
Maybe 20 feet.
I want a Rukabar's tentacles to launch out of the water to try and grab hold of it.
Cool. Make a roll really quick. And add +3.
Okay. Alright. Gonna blow on this. I want to roll again, because I don't want to take this. It's a 20.
No, you fucking take it. Why
Alright,
do you not
I'll
want
take
it?
Because that just sounds too good.
No, dude, that's exactly what this campaign's all about. So
Alright, then I'll
out from
take-
the water launches 15 tentacles, and they just wrap around the top of this dragon, and just yanked immediately downwards into Arukabar's gaping, smelly, rotting maw. And you just hear a huge, horrendous roar that just sounds like home to you. And all of the sailors are cheering on your ship, and just this thing is writhing and fighting and blah blah blah, and they immediately detach the chains because they know what's happening. So they detach the chains off the ship, and like everyone's laughing as this fucking water dragon is just like trying its best and its damnedest to get out of this thing's fucking grip, but it is iron, hard, cold grip, and it's just pulled down to the crushing depths.
So dragon is gone.
Dragon is gone.
My guy's just gonna like pulls tonight.
Their arms and like, you know, their swords and their guns and shit like that, and they all start celebrating. So you continue unimpeded towards Moorshrine. And you know, you dock, and everyone in Moorshrine is like, they know you by name. They know you by your epithet as well. So they're like, oh, Sir Graven, it's a pleasure to see you again. How was the voyage to the Grove of Jade?
The voyage went well. We brought our goods to shore. They gave us the wealth they promised in the trade, and I now bring that home.
Good. Glad to see that it went swimmingly. We heard some roaring off in the distance. What was that?
Ah, nothing but an overgrown lizard thinking it knows best on how to sail the seas.
I'm guessing, judging from the last bit of splashing that we heard, that Arukabar is eating tonight.
Very well indeed.
And he just kind of nods and holds out his hands to shake her hand.
I stick mine out.
And he shakes your hand with a firm grasp, and he goes, "You're always welcome here. You keep our waters safe."
Any word about town?
There's a lot of crows flying overhead for some reason. And the weird part is that the Moon of the Reaper is not in season.
Crows. Really quick, out of it, what do you mean by the seasons? Really quick.
There's 5 seasons in Drathrian. There's
Okay.
the seasons' names are Downpour, Bloom's Time, Harvests Come, the Drying, and Frostfall. Right now it's Bloom's Time, which is the season before Harvest Come. It's literally about the dead of Bloom's Time. It's in the middle of the season. Crows normally don't come until the end of Bloom's Time, to where Harvest Come is actually, you know, a thing. So the fact that they're out in this number now could mean any number of things.
That's an ill omen. Have you mispleased the lady in any way?
Have I personally? No.
No, the town.
I don't know. I'm just the portsman.
Any rumors about town of note?
None that I know. He seems like he's withholding something. And I want you to roll really quick to see if you can convince him.
D20, right?
Yep.
That's a
You get a 20.
Okay. It's an 8. Okay. So you're like, I'm gonna beat the piss out of you if you don't fucking tell me shit. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? No, get out of here. You ain't gonna do shit to me. But yeah, you're like, you just kind of adjust your grip on your spear, and he's just like, he just kind of looks at your spear and looks at you and looks at your spear and looks at you, and he just kind of shakes his head and walks away.
I turn to my men and be like, a night on the town for a successful voyage. Jones, make sure the vessel's
Yes.
ready to leave in 3 days.
Aye, Captain. So yeah, he basically gives the crew, you know, first night shore leave, and then second night and third morning are going to be spent prepping the ship and getting cargo on and off and shit like that. Excuse me. So yeah, you start heading in towards the town to go to the Church of the Pale Lady. And in order to get there, you need to pass by two churches. You need to pass by the Church of the Soldier and the Church of the Reaper. The Church of the Reaper is where, conspicuously enough, most of the crows are herding.
That's most peculiar.
What's and Jones is kind of your liaison. He hangs with you a lot.
Those, the Reaper lovers. These crows seem to enjoy their company.
I see. You do know that Reapers are, harbingers of death, right?
Yes, I know, but... one
You
would
do
think
know
they-
that crows are attracted to death, right?
Yes, but one would think they could do without the theatrics.
You know them. They're all about that life. So, the two of you kind of walk past the Church of the Reaper, and you're just like... You throw the Reapers disgusted looks, and they throw you disgusted looks, and, you know, all that type of shit is thrown all around. And,
Clashing fates and whatnot.
exactly. And, then you pass by the Church of the Soldier. And, you know, there's a few of them that are like, you know, what's going on? They kind of wave at you, they nod their heads. They give you a little bit of acknowledgement, but once you get to the Church of the Pale Lady, whoo, boy, there's fanfare. They're like, you know, the Pale Lady's will has arrived, and you know, there's a bunch of people that are fucking cheering. There's people fucking bowing to you as you walk into the church, and you know, you're home, dude. You're home.
I want to... Do I notice anything in the church that's peculiar? Like any like new people or like...
There's towards the very back of the church where your priest likes to hang out. He's talking to a man in a black trench coat who's wearing you know, a black button-down shirt and black slacks, black knee-high boots. He's wearing a white tie. He has very dark circular sunglasses on and a stovepipe hat. He's the Undertaker of Morshrine, and he's talking to your priest.
I want to approach.
Okay. So you walk up, and the Morshrine Pale Lady priest kind of looks at you and gives you a nod. And he goes back to his conversation. The Undertaker. I need to give him a name real quick. Give me 1 minute here. The Undertaker, his name is Cassius Vey.
Would I know that?
Yeah, no, Undertakers are very well known. There's only one Undertaker per town.
And his name is Cassius?
Cassius Vey. K-A-S-I-S space V-A-Y. Cassius Vey. But yeah, there's only one Undertaker, and then they're typically followed by a retinue of Gravekeepers. And like, you know, groundskeepers and shit like that. He has 2 of them behind him, you know. They don't have the stovepipe hats. Their trench coats have hoods, but they're basically dressed almost exactly like him. All of their hands are very dirty, which means they've been digging graves very recently. And that's typically a bad sign. So as you're listening in on the conversation, you hear that one of the very noted members of your church has actually been assassinated.
One of them has been assassinated. I'm gonna interject at this point and be like, who amongst us was killed? To the priest. Like, I'm not gonna address the Undertaker just yet. My guys,
Right.
I'm gonna more directly to the source.
Right. The faith of the Pale Lady is, at this point I should note, is matriarchal. So your priest is not the highest member. The highest member is a woman called the matriarch. The matriarch has been assassinated.
So what was his answer?
The matriarch has been assassinated.
The matriarch's been taken. Now I turn to the Undertaker. Cassius, was it?
Cassius, yes, sir.
Do we know of anyone who would want to harm a dear matriarch?
That's precisely why I've come here. I've come to profess our innocence to him, because being the fact that our faiths have never seemed to have gotten along, I want to say that the Church of the Reaper has your back. We would never wish a high-ranking member of anyone's church to be dead.
Has anything, in my absence from the city, has anything strange occurred?
Strange as in the entirety of the land, or...
Strange as in the attitudes of the city folk. Any major switch in the paradigm?
Well... And, he kind of looks down at his boots for a minute, like he's kind of, like, almost ashamed to say it. There has been a necromancer that came from our ranks, and he was very quickly put down. But the peculiar part is that it was a month after. You've been gone a long time. In order to get to the Grove of Jade, it's a long fucking voyage. It's like 2 months round trip.
2 months round trip?
Yeah. Because you were sailing against the wind like 80% of the way, so it takes a while. Basically you have to loop out around into the ocean and then back in order to get to the Grove of Jade, but you can sail up along the coast all the way back. It only takes like half a month. It takes a month and a half to get there, because the entire way you have to fucking loop out and around and back into the ocean.
Okay.
But, yeah, so... Once we got word that you arrived in the Grove of Jade, the matriarch was assassinated. But...
So
that was after a month. A month and a half, actually. So, 3 weeks after you left is when we put down the necromancer. So, and then a month later, the matriarch was killed.
Did the necromancer have any conspirators?
He might have. We're investigating right now.
I would like to assist you in your investigation.
As much as I'd like to say I want to keep this in-house, You are the Pale Lady's will, so we'll grant you this.
Thank you. I'll be sure to.
So, what's the plan?
What was the necromancer's last known location?
The Undercity, which basically means the massive catacombal tomb that encompasses every city that the Undertaker is in charge of.
Of course, it's the Undercity. It's always the Undercity with these people. We're gonna go there, and we're going to search what we can, see if we can rustle up any leads.
A bloody course we are. So, yeah, the Undertaker seems a little bit miffed at the fact that now he has to go back into the Undercity, even though he just fucking scoured the entire thing, because now you want to come fucking down there. So, yeah, so the two of you go down there, and, First Mate Jones is like, almost split, sir. I don't quite like those places.
Jones, before you go,
Yeah, aye.
tell the boys to keep an ear to the ground at the taverns.
Aye, sir.
Tell them there's another night of shore leave in for them if anyone finds anything.
Aye, sir. So, he walks merrily off to a bar. And, the entire conversation, First Mate Jones kind of distanced himself, because even though all of you guys are, you know, mostly, you know, you fly under Vietnam colors, so, ship. Even though most of them come from more that, and, well, there's one of everybody on your ship, basically. You just kind of indiscriminately hired people for their skill, not their religion. So
Yeah.
there's a couple Reapers on board. There's a couple soldiers. Shit like that, you know. Most of you are the Pale Lady, but there's a few of everyone else. So, yeah, there's just kind of word spreads around town that your crew is looking for some information, and, First Mate Jones doesn't quite know what, because he distanced himself from the conversation. He himself is not a disciple of the Pale Lady.
What would he be? Would he be the soldier, a first, or Reaper?
Let me decide that really quick. Based on what he does. He's a disciple of the soldier.
Well, that's interesting.
Because there's a lot of, you know, small armies and mercenary bands and shit like that that worship the soldier. The two things that are in the most number on your ship are the soldier and the Pale Lady. Majority is the Pale Lady. The next minority would be the soldier. After that, it's kind of mixed number of the First, the Lord, and the Reaper. So yeah, they all kind of go off to their respective sections of town, and you know, word spreads kind of quickly that your crew is looking for some kind of piece of information of what he has no idea. But people have been, you know, throughout the course of the night, people will be coming up to your crew and feeding them information, however useless it may be. So you and Undertaker Cassius Vey, the two of you go into the Undercity of Moor Shrine, and immediately upon entering, you feel very uneasy. You feel like you're not supposed to be here. Your stomach feels like it's tying itself in knots. And I want you to make an endurance save really quick. No bonuses, no minuses.
15?
Okay. You managed to keep your lunch down. And you kind of power on through it. Your faith in the Pale Lady is keeping you strong, especially in a place like this.
Cassius, are you feeling that as well?
I have no idea what you're on about, lad.
The air of this place is making me sick.
Look who you follow. And he just kind of...
Regrets.
He's... Whatever, boy. And he walks off into, you know, the depths of the Undercity. Roll really quick. And I'm gonna make a roll too. Let me know if you beat a 14.
I got a 13.
Okay. Cassius is walking pretty fast. And every so often you kind of get a little bit distracted. You're like, oh, wow, there's a tomb of one of my guys down here. Holy shit, maybe I should pay her my respects. And then you go to look up after you're done, and Cassius is like turning around the corners. You got to sprint and go after him, and then you know you catch up to him. At one point though, you linger a little bit too long.
And I lose Cassius?
You lose Cassius. You are now alone and lost inside the Moor Shrine Undercity.
1 second. What's up?
John, what time we got?
On my timer, you got about 5 minutes.
Cool. Do you want to cut the episode here and then we'll start back up?
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna have to call it a night anyway. It's 11 o'clock, and I should be getting Jordan off to bed.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll call it here. We'll call it here, and
yeah,
then
we'll finish off. We'll
finish off Dom's
campaign like tomorrow.
Not, you can even finish it tonight if you want. I set my timer for 45 minutes, and my recording time is an hour, so that gives me plenty of leeway.
Okay.
Alright.
So, I gotta make this a little bit quicker then.
No, you got about 20 minutes still on my timer. So.
Yeah, I know, but I had a lot to play, but that's the problem.
Okay.
So, yeah,
get to a convenient point to cut, and then we'll continue it tomorrow.
Yeah. So, you're sitting there, you're trying to navigate and remember where you went based off of like some of the tombs that you've seen, but it's nearly fucking hopeless. This place is literally a labyrinthine maze.
Do I see, or you know what? Speaking to the pale lady.
Okay. Roll a d20 really quick and add 3 because you'll faith.
That is a 19.
Damn, son.
The
pale
lady
lady
protects.
The pale lady is listening intently.
My lady, I'm lost. My mind's clouded, and I do not know where I am.
This I know, my
guide me?
child. You feel an odd wave of cold that is coming from your north.
I'm gonna start heading that way.
Okay, so you start heading north.
Zach.
And I'm gonna make a roll really quick. A roru, as me and Caboose would say. Okay. So you get there nearly unimpeded. Every so often, you know, some will fucking fall off of one of the bone piles of skulls and shit like that. It kind of scares you a little bit, but you get there basically unimpeded. And you come to an intersection, and then you feel a cold gust of wind blowing from the west.
I'm gonna follow it.
Okay, so you keep going.
But as I'm walking, I'll be like, my lady, this is the way.
You just feel a kind of sense of reassurance. She doesn't really say anything, but you feel a kind of vibe where it's like, just keep going, you'll get there.
Alright, we're gonna just keep swimming.
Okay, you just keep swimming. And again, you get there basically unimpeded. So you come to another intersection, and you feel a gust of wind again coming from the north. It's really, really cold. This is much colder than the other gusts. So you follow it, and you find the body, the now bloodied corpse of Undertaker Cassius Vey.
Oh well, shit.
He looks like he's been clawed apart by a beast. Of what type? You have no idea.
I want to inspect the wounds.
Okay. So you look up closer, and I want you to roll a d20.
That is a 12.
Okay. So, it looks like, definite fangs, right? But the thing is, that's really weird, is that there's a lot of bruising around his neck. And the fact that there's fangs, as well as there's bruising around his neck, means that he was either hung and the noose is gone, or he was strangled. But there's fang marks everywhere.
Fangs and... Where would the fangs... Where's like the most concentration of like bite marks?
Around the backside of his neck, around the nape of his neck, towards his spine. There's a few marks that look like maybe something tried to clench down around his neck, and it was knocked free because there's a little bit of his neck, like a little chunk of his neck missing. But out from that spot, there's a bunch of veins that you're very clearly able to see that are extremely discolored.
Discolored as in how, like...
They're literally, like, you know how it's like a vein that you can see underneath the skin is blue? These are almost like blackish green.
He was either insanguinated or poisoned. This is great. I want to try. I'm gonna pull out my.
I want you to make a perception check really quick.
All right. 14.
14? Okay. There is spider webs everywhere.
Oh.
You look up and there are spiders everywhere.
Oh, don't do this to me.
I'm introducing another nightmarish creature.
My spear's with me, right?
It absolutely is. You never leave home
I
without
want my
it.
spear ready. I have my spear in my hand.
Okay, so make another perception check. If you pass a 16,
I got something for you, and you're gonna love it.
to get a 20.
Is a 20.
So you look into the darkest corner of this room, which, by the way, somehow the doors are now sealed to this room, and you have no idea how it happened. But you look up to the darkest corner of this room, and you see a were-spider. You know what a were-spider is?
Yes, this person that could turn into a spider. That's so gross.
For those of you following along at home, cursed with the lower half of a spider, these beings can sometimes fully realize transformation to become sentient spiders with chitin-like armor on their upper halves. They call the ruins and the many caves that dot the fog's territory their home. Rumor has it they're twisted creations of the Pale Lady.
How
about that?
And if it's female with big boobs, there are weeaboos everywhere suddenly panting.
Yeah, right.
Romnir is erect with rage.
Okay, so the were-spider kind of sees that it sees you and begins to crawl out from the corner, and very slowly and excruciatingly quiet. You literally barely hear this thing moving. Okay, comes out of the darkness and the shadows and brings itself into the light of the torches that's in the room. And you see that it indeed has the upper half chitinous armor. But it's not fully there yet. And there's a big kind of crest that comes off the top of its head, almost like a crown. And you realize that this is no were-spider. This is a brood mother. which is like a queen. Where spider? And this thing looks at you, and just kind of tilts its head. Says, "What is the Pale Lady's will doing here?"
Investigating the loss of one of our matriarchs. And what is one of you doing down here? Is this your home?
You can say that.
What did poor old Cassius here do to you to warrant such aggression?
He tried to shoot me.
Huh. In that case, good on you. What? How long have you been down here?
Oh, many years. Many years indeed.
Oh, then I have a question for you.
Yes, my lord. And she bows rather sarcastically to you. Rather theatrically, I should say. Her voice is dripping with sarcasm.
I kind of got that. If you've been down here for so long, then maybe you can enlighten me to a situation.
When you make a perception check really quick.
11?
You don't notice.
Poor old Cassius here was telling me of a rather vile necromancer who may have been involved with some nefarious deeds around this town. Would you happen to know anything about that?
Would I happen to know anything about that, he asks.
From the way you're speaking, you awfully do sound like you know something.
You know, they say that information is a commodity. Commodities have prices. What are you willing to offer me?
I don't know what interests a were spider these days.
My lord, I'm offended. You and I are of the same faith.
Many apologies then. What interests a fellow follower of the lady? I've been away a while.
Now I'm well and truly offended.
For those of you who are following along at home, things that interest the Pale Lady typically happen to involve knowledge.
Hmm?
Knowledge.
Wow, pity sprinkles.
Have you any secrets that you're willing to part with?
What would you like to know? My life's an open book.
I want to know about your birth.
Well, that is something we both want to know about.
Making a Roru here. Actually, you make a Roru.
A Roru?
A Roru.
That is a 16 on a Roru.
Okay. So you begin to feel a very familiar cold. Reassuring cold. And you get a vision of a black well with shards of glass floating around it. Razorfish. You very quickly begin to note. Kind of circling around like a vortex. Really, really, really quick. Right? And there's a woman slowly floating towards the bottom where the white light is. And the entirety of the water, besides this little white light, is black. And once the woman touches the white light, she vanishes, and instead you appear. And that is the only thing that comes of this vision.
We can't put them upside down.
So evidently it was like a vision. My guy's like a little out of it, and he snaps to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Square nails are a thing.
If you really
I
must
suppose.
know.
I don't know, they fit you okay,
Your
right?
mic unmuted.
They're kind of digging.
We can peel them off, put them on tomorrow.
John, your mic unmuted.
Yes, sir. Sorry. And it's also time's up. Hang on a sec. You can continue. Just let me pause the video.
Okay.
Okay. And then everyone else just gets none. You ever feel like that, Jones?
I sir.
Tonight's gonna be a fun night.
He just kind of nods very slowly and says, "Aye, sir, it is." And with that, that's the end of all the shit that I got planned for you today.
Woo!
Thank
Very
you for
good.
joining us for another episode of Hunter's Legacy. My name is Delhandril James Mageros, and
Hey.
you were watching Mighty Mr. Mustache, the mightiest mustache in the
mightiest.
universe.
Yes, I am.